This episode of Sorry for the Wait is sponsored by the 30 minutes of sitting on the toilet on your phone after you poop.
This episode is also brought to you by pocketing your middle school lunch money for takeout on the weekends. This is Sorry for the Wait. Here we go. Fired up, ready to go.
Let's go.
Welcome to the show, folks. This is Sorry for the Wait, a weight loss podcast for regular people by regular people. I am your host, Seth.
And I am your host, Strawberry.
And Barry, I've got some breaking news.
Oh, yeah?
Breaking news, breaking foods, if you will.
Okay.
Breaking foods. And granted, by the time this posts, it won't be as breaking, but the internet got set on fire yesterday in the food world. This was sent to us by loyal listener Logan. That's what I'm going to just call him now, just triple L, like loyal listener Logan. And so this was sent to me by loyal listener Logan, and it was a graphic. Now, a verified Taco Bell employee on Reddit, like apparently, like Reddit can verify Taco Bell employees. That was probably the most wild part about this.
How does that work? Do you just have to have like a Taco Bell
I have no
uniform?
idea. Yeah, like do you just upload a photo in your uniform and you're just like, yeah, I work at Taco Bell. Regardless, posted online that Taco Bell will it's inevitable, apparently, according to this guy.
Yeah.
Taco Bell will be removing the following items
Oh, no.
from their menu.
Please don't. Oh, no.
The quesarito, all potato items, loaded grillers, triple layer nachos, the beefy Frito burrito, the spicy tostada, and the 7-layer burrito. Gone. Thanos. Just a snap away.
Oh,
Dusted.
my God.
Dude!
When is this effective?
I don't know.
Because I hate to say this, especially to like all of my listeners who are so proud of hearing our progress, but that really makes me want to have one last ride. You know?
like I got it. My hands are tied, Doc.
Yeah, like why?
Why?
Was there any?
Why?
Is there any explanation?
I don't know. It was literally a graphic, like a news graphic at one point on like Fox. And like that was like the version that loyal listener Logan sent us.
And this is verified.
Yeah, by a verified Taco Bell employee on Twitter. Like that was like the little like carrot tagline. Like, you know how they always do that of like, this is the source, like,
right.
Which I thought was also hilarious that it like someone at Fox had to be like, just type in verified Taco Bell employee, parentheses Reddit. and that's the internet. But dude, again, why?
That makes me so upset because like, you know, I'm a big quesarito guy.
Dude, this cuts off
a huge loaded potato griller guy.
This cuts off $35 of our Taco Bell order. Like right there, which like granted, good thing.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes it a little bit easier.
But that shit blew my mind.
Man, that's like the majority of the stuff that I like to eat from Taco Bell.
Like they came for my
It's going to be very easy to quit Taco Bell now if they're not going to have my favorite shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of conflicted of like, do I want a movement of people to really speak up and be like, keep this or we're out? Or do I just go, well, this is better for me? Like,
Yeah,
like,
no,
do I
think
go
I'm okay without it?
Do I go the route of like they came for my loaded potato griller and I said nothing, and then who knows what's next? Like, what if they ever came for Baja Blast? Like, especially coming off of last week's episode.
Yeah, how was the response to your Baja Blast fish?
You know, I'm gonna be honest, it was a little mixed. But you know what? It's my craving. But either way, it's fine. But I am worried. I mean, like, granted, like, it for me to sit here and say that I'm never gonna have Taco Bell again, like, is asinine. And so, like, I kind of want the good shit to stick around.
Yeah.
And so that's breaking foods, and just a quick breaking foods.
I'm glad you told me because somehow the only like social media I go on is Reddit, and I did not hear about this.
This shit, it messed me up yesterday a little bit, I'll be honest. But hey, how was your week?
You know, week's been pretty good. Another week, I've been very consistent with my walks every morning now, which feels really nice.
Right on.
I used to wonder how people could say that they like exercised and then like felt good afterwards. I was just like, something doesn't compute to me there.
I'm physically exhausting my body. There's no way I'm going to feel good.
Exactly. But actually, I've started like feeling really good when I come home, you know? So Hey, it's working, and I'm down another 4.4 pounds this week.
So now with walking, right? Well, first off, another 4.4 pounds. Since you've added in the walking, your numbers, like remember how we had talked a couple episodes ago about
my plateau.
Right. And you were like, I just need something to kickstart it. Who would have thunk moving around would kickstart it, mixed with the intermittent fasting? And so when you walk, though, because you were very anti-exercise.
Yes.
What are the things that are making it go by for you or making it more enjoyable for you?
Number one, the route that I have is a pretty good looking route.
We live right on the water, so
yeah,
it's pretty nice.
It's kind of like a boardwalk. It's not really that populous, so it's very easy to kind of like see people coming and then like avoid them so that I don't have to get
to
like
remain
right
socially
up.
distant. Yeah.
Yeah, because that is still important to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, just kind of listening to podcasts and audiobooks of kind of like just make the time go by way faster than listening to music used to.
Yeah. No, that honestly, I feel the same way with my commute. Like now that I've incorporated just a lot more podcasts, it just makes the commute so much better. But that's awesome. And every time you text me when I'm like at the office and at work, it's usually you're out walking.
Yeah.
So you're putting up miles.
Oh yeah. I try to do like 3 miles a day, but some days I'll go for like 2-3 mile walks.
We got to get you an Apple Watch or a Fitbit so you can track.
I actually use a Track My Run.
Yeah. Map My Run. Yeah. That was a popular one.
Yeah, and that does good.
It helps
so far,
a ton.
So
it's nice to be able to look back to see like holy shit, started here, ended here.
And it also lets you like put in little notes. Like today, my walk got cut a little short because it decided to start raining.
The nerve.
Yeah. How dare they? So I just like put in there that walked 4 miles, wanted to do 5 today, but it started raining, and then it saves that note so I can see it.
Right, so that way you remember the anomaly.
Right.
That's awesome.
So how's your week been?
It was a weird week, I'll be honest. Like for my massive confidence boost that I like beat my chest and shouted out loud through this microphone about my confidence level. Like this past week, like my confidence hasn't diminished because my program's been discontinued, but definitely like things are starting to pop up in my head that I'm just glad that I'm starting to really kind of prepare for now. The weight loss was great. It was another 3 pounds, 113.5 now. So
wow.
Yeah, feeling good, honestly. And I mean, you saw me pull out this massive pile of old t-shirts.
Oh yeah, those old shirts.
Yeah, that were size larges and like the small kind of extra large.
You were throwing on like old camp shirts and stuff from like 2009.
I threw on the shirts we made for Color War in 2010. A shirt that is a literal 10 years old, and that thing is starting to fit again, which blew my mind. But so it was a good week on the scale, but I'm starting to realize now that as I'm going to be getting closer to transition, is that activity it has to play a pivotal role in this process.
Right.
And when you've just been drinking 800 calories a day since January, I mean, you saw when we went out to March. When we went out to March here in Fall River with a group of passionate people, I was dying.
Oh, yeah.
I literally...
Well, you were also kind of a little bit of an idiot and didn't drink the shake before we went.
Yeah, Barry, I'm going to be honest. In hindsight, not the best move. Should have prepared a little bit more. But regardless, like we ended up walking like a total of probably, I want to say like 2.5 miles, like because and I remember turning to you in the midst of this powerful demonstration and protest. I remember turning to you and being like, I don't want to throw up at this thing. Like everyone seems to really be into this, and so are we.
Yeah,
but I'm about to be sick.
That would have really ruined the mood.
It would have been so bad. And so like I thought back to that a lot this week because I need to be ready, because when I used to get in the gym beforehand and essentially kill myself in the gym, like the terrible way, I only knew one speed. I only knew like we go hard right now. Like I didn't know how to like ramp up. It was just like hit the ground and let's go. Because again, I'm very novice in that space of like working out, especially in a structured workout or doing something like that.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
And so what I'm worried about is I don't want to go right back into that speed. And I have to understand that like even when I start eating again and start my transition plan, I'm still only going to be at like 950 calories, like at that point when I add in other stuff.
Right.
And so like I need to make sure that like I have the right team around me and I have the right guidance. And luckily we have a huge network of people who who dominate this space.
Oh, absolutely.
And can help me out with that. And I'm super thankful for that. But
what's your plan for working out when you transition back and you're starting to do workouts? Is it going to be a lot of cardio, or are you going to be doing some weights?
I think it has to be walking to start because again, sustainability. If I go and like try to walk and lift weights in the same day, I just know myself. I know myself as a person that if I start with that and then I'm feeling sore and terrible like 2 days later, and then I miss a day, then I'm just going to be like, oh, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. Even though I'm very driven and I'm very motivated right now, but it's still, it's building blocks. It has to be building blocks. Like, don't ever expect to start up anything and immediately be able to go 100 miles an hour.
Right.
Like, that's just dumb to me. And so like, I just kind of have to think of it one day at a time. Like, it has to literally just be, we take today and we take it one day at a time. And then from today, we build tomorrow. And then from tomorrow, we build the next day, because I can't afford to get in my own head. Right. Because once I get in my own head, then it's terrible.
And I will say, I kind of see that too as I'm doing my walks, like I'm not trying to like run or push myself with like a very fast pace, because right now it's important for me to just build the habit of being on the walks.
Right.
Once I have that habit down and I wake up and it's just like automatic, like I'm going out for my walk, like then I'll start experimenting with making it harder for me.
Right, exactly. And I feel like since you had to cut your walk short, like you didn't feel like you gave up. You know what I mean? Like you didn't feel like you lost anything significant. Like, yes, you would have loved to have gone further, like if it was nicer out, but you're not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, I only did that yesterday. Like I have to really bust my ass today.
Yeah. And we just, I think that anybody who's losing weight really needs to like stay on top of their compulsions, because if you do have these compulsions, I mean, it's signs of like bad things starting to happen in your own mind.
Right, exactly. And it's bad behaviors that fester, at least in our opinion. You know what I mean? It's different for everybody. But you know what's funny is that you're out on your walk and you're just strolling along listening to Dolly Parton's podcast, the Dolly Parton miniseries, I think it was.
Dolly Parton's America, actually.
Yes, absolutely. And you're loving that. And you're listening. And then all of a sudden something in that story just goes, man, I don't know why I'm craving this. Mm-hmm. And so what are we doing?
Well, we're going on to Craving of the Week.
Yeah, you're damn right we are. I don't know. I'm going to try and like mess around with segues for Craving of the Week.
Okay.
So
do you
until we record a theme song, until we record like an actual theme song. And if anybody
Craving of the Week.
Yeah, if anybody wants to submit a theme song for Craving of the Week, SFTW submissions @gmail.com. You want me to start?
Do you want to start?
You know what? You've led off, I think, the past few, so I'll take this one.
Okay.
Barry, masks are here to stay.
Yes, I hope.
I mean, no, like regardless, like people can have their stance on them, but masks aren't going away anytime soon. Those are the facts.
Yep.
Okay. And so everybody's out there wearing masks, and it's a nation divided on the mask debate.
Yeah.
You know, I think that instead of shaming people that don't wear their mask or say, I don't want to wear a mask, mask sucks. Like instead of saying that to people, let's give an alternative.
And what would be your alternative?
So my alternative, and subsequently my craving of the week, is that I want a face mask made out of fruit roll-up.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've been craving like those fruit by the foot, or like those like large tarp fruit roll-ups.
I remember I used to eat the fruit by the foot, and I would just let the whole foot like dangle out from my mouth, and then just like no hands, just like gobble it up.
Yeah, like
inch
you were
by inch.
A band member in Kiss, like Gene Simmons. Like But a face mask of fruit roll-up, I think like here's how I'm attacking this is right. Delicious, but counterproductive and expensive.
I was gonna zero in on the counterproductivity there. What happens if you eat your mask while you're in public? Because I know, as somebody who has had very big problems with impulse control around food, that mask would not be surviving very long.
I'm sort of imagining it like Billy Bob pulls up to Walmart, okay? Sorry, it was the first
Billy Bob.
Billy Bob. Down here in the bayou, we don't wear masks, okay? But okay, pulls up, right? Pulls up to the Walmart, and he's just like, I really don't want to wear a mask, man. Like, I really don't want to wear a fruit roll-up mask. He puts that on, and just don't chew it. Just do little high fives with your tongue on it just to get the flavor.
Okay.
Okay? Just a little bleh.
All right.
And then he's just walking around Walmart. And then as soon as you check out and as soon as you leave the Walmart, it's and you can just devour the mask. And then you don't have to worry about, do you know how many masks I have sitting in my car? Like, and like just so many different masks lying around our apartment, lying around the car. What if you could just eat it after you were done?
You know, that is a novel concept, and I kind of like it. Now, what's the breathability like with those masks?
So here's the issue.
Have you tried this?
We're going to lose a couple people in beta, okay? Like we're like some people just, I don't know. I'm an inventor, so I just don't know what the ramifications are yet until we go into beta testing. But I think an interesting scenario is that I have set the over under. If you were only wearing fruit roll-up masks, okay, the over under is set at 5.5. Are you going over or under in masks eaten per day?
Oh, well, how many times do I leave the apartment? 5.5. On an average day, probably under.
Under? Okay, yeah. I honestly, it's over for me. It's an over.
I just don't think I go out that often, that I like, at least not in multiple trips.
Yeah, but I love fruit roll up. Like I love the red kind.
Yeah, see, for you, it's not even going to make it long enough to put on your face. You're just going to eat all 6 of them in a package before you go outside. You
know, I never really thought this was going to be as effective, but I just really loved the idea of putting on my mask and then like leaving a store and being like, well, I'm good now. And then just finishing it. So that's me this week. But what about you? What are you craving this week?
All right. So, you know me, your boy. I'm a big carb guy.
Yeah, you are the spokesperson for big carbs.
And one of my favorite versions of a carb is the breadsticks from Olive Garden.
Ooh.
And I feel like this is a very universally acceptable thing, so I won't dwell too much on it.
On this,
but the butter, the garlic, the everything.
On this hill of pasta, I will build my church of breadsticks. Like
right.
That is.
But here's the thing. I feel like the word unlimited is thrown around way too often, because only when you have a problem with eating do you realize that nothing's really unlimited.
True. I agree with that. That's a good point.
But there is one thing that's unlimited. And so here's how I'm going to wrap this Olive Garden breadstick into a metaphor. I want a quiver of arrows from any popular movie or TV series. And you know that these archers, Hawkeye,
I was just about
Katniss,
to say,
you're just infinite arrows.
You're just as effective to the Avengers as Clint, like whether he's got the real arrows or.
and the best thing about them is that in a movie, the arrows never run out.
Ever.
There's always more.
That is such a plot hole in every movie that has like an archer, is that they just never has Legolas. I think only once did I ever see Legolas go, damn it.
And then he miraculously had some like 10 minutes
right,
later.
He's Legolas. He's just like, yeah, I just had to go to the store. But oh my God, that is so nuanced. But here's the thing now, is that if you have a quiver of arrows, like you're shooting them away. Are you just shooting them directly into your mouth?
First of all, I'd like to just say that we didn't talk about this at all, but I wrote down on my notes that Seth would ask, do you shoot it like an arrow? And I already have my answer for you, which is no, they're just for me. I just want the quiver.
You don't even want the bow.
No, the quiver is enough, because that's the magic power that gives you unlimited breadsticks.
Oh, that's so good. Man, breadsticks, dude. Oh.
I really want those breadsticks. They are so good.
Absolutely zero nutritional value whatsoever, but so worth it. Oh, God, that makes me feel good. And folks, we have another fan submission craving of the week. And yeah, there we go. That's the horn that I wanted. I was
trying to think of like the blaring horns, but I just
no. I thought you did that. I thought you did that pretty well. So this was a submission that we got, and this submission is from Kira from Wisconsin. So Kira, if you're out there listening, thank you so much. And there's actually a short little question here right after it that I think would be fun to mess around with.
Okay.
So Kira's craving of the week is an actual mountain of Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies with creamy peanut butter to dip.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had that, but you know what? It sounds like it would be pretty good.
To me, that sounds like a fever dream. Like, that is so good. You know, I love the sound of that.
Yeah, you're way more of a peanut butter guy than I am, but I still think that like peanut butter with like the chocolate and the mint.
Yeah, I
would
think
be,
there's
like, a
something
really
there.
awesome thing.
I think that's a really good one. And then Kira asked, she said, why aren't there Girl Scout cookies all year round? That's that's not a hot take. Like, that's a very widely debated question too, but I appreciated that she asked it because it is still one of the great unknown mysteries. Like, people would buy that shit all year round.
It is almost like they are completely like what's the opposite of a sellout? Because like think about how
Money
much,
laundering. No.
because think of how much money they could make if you just like could walk down the cookie aisle and
Right.
have Girl Scout cookies in any supermarket.
Because, like, I don't want to go online and like buy them from like a person who's shipping them out of their garage. That kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then she asked, I think, what are our top 3 Girl Scout cookies? But I just want to do our top. I mean, mine's obvious. It's the peanut butter patties. Like, those ones are just heavenly.
Yeah, I do like those. I really like, what's the one that's like snickerdoodle-y?
Oh, I forget the name off the top of my head, but I know what you're talking about. Not Samoa's, though.
No, I don't think it's
Not
Samoa's.
Yeah, that's like the only name I can really kind of remember. But
Yeah, I'm really bad with the names of Girl Scout cookies, but I could like do a blind taste test. Like I've eaten all of them
yeah.
many, many times.
Oh, man, I miss Girl Scout cookies a ton.
Yeah.
It's good that we don't have access to them, honestly.
Mhm.
I don't know, anytime those come up, I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm glad that I don't have those at my disposal all year
Those
round.
would be dangerous.
Yeah, but Kira, thank you. Thank you for the submission. And folks, keep on submitting. We want to hear your cravings, SFTW submissions at gmail.com. And that's another craving of the week. So we're going to move on into our next segment. Barry, what are we going with?
We are going to move on to some bread it and butter.
Bread and butter.
But with an asterisk, because this time, what's different, Seth?
We don't want to limit breaded and butter to just Reddit.
Yeah,
You know, that's unfair to the rest of the internet, which is normally such a fair place. But
yeah, there's so many food things all over the internet.
All over the internet.
Why limit ourselves?
Why? And honestly, we just love the name. And so we were perusing through different platforms, and I came across this. Okay, this is from Yahoo Answers.
Oh boy,
and it's an
that tells you everything you're gonna need to know.
It's an anonymous Yahoo Answers user, and they asked Yahoo Answers, "How bad is it to mainly pizza for 9 months?"
How bad is it to what?
How bad is it to mainly pizza for 9 months? That is a verbatim quote of what this user asked.
Okay, so
There's
a verb missing in there.
Here's the description. I'm 21 years old, and ever since my mom started making me pay for my own food, I have been eating pizza pretty much for every meal. It's been about 9 months. I do it because it's the cheapest thing for me to eat. As I work in a pizza place, I get it for free. I do occasionally eat something else, but not too often, since I've never liked spending money on food. How bad is it to eat like that?
Okay.
Barry? What?
First of all, I will say, I get the fact that it's free does make it like super appealing.
Yeah, like the freest for me motto is alive and well with Brody here. Like,
You know, there's a point where you almost don't want to judge it, but like to an extent, because I feel like if you're gonna like only eat pizza, if you're gonna mainly pizza for 9 months,
if you're gonna mainly pizza,
like there is like you need to have a plan here. Like, is this saving up money so you can get a house and then like in a year you can leave this like pizza hellhole that you're
this
in?
pizza
like,
hellscape. Because
or is this just your new normal?
yeah,
forever?
is this your life? Like your life is only pizza. Like
the
you
fact
can't
that-
even look at other food and acknowledge it because you're like, it's not pizza.
The fact that this person even felt the need that they needed to ask the internet to know whether it was okay or not makes me think that they would do this forever if they could.
Right. Like if you could get free pizza for the rest of your life, but it's the only thing that you could eat, you turn that down.
And I mean, come on, dude. At some point, just like save up enough money to get something off the dollar menu, man.
Well, right. That was kind of my big thing is one, this is every kid's dream. Like when you're a young kid, like this is what your dream is. It's like, I want to eat pizza every day. And then that same kid just grows up to be this lowly, greasy adult. It's just like, why did I ever just want to eat pizza? It's like when Timmy Turner like wished for it to be Christmas every day. And like
Bad idea.
Yeah, and then by like day 16, he was like, this sucks. Like, I can't stand this. And that's what I imagine with this kid. Plus, he's 21. If you're 21 and you're blaming your mom for like not like for asking you to like pay for your own food.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, come on,
Ugh.
brother. Like, get it together. And also, he works. Like, you have money.
Yeah, like if you're working like 9 months if you're working 9 months and you're not paying for food because you're eating free food,
You got to be
and
loaded.
you're living at home with your mom, and
Right.
like, does it say whether he pays rent or not? Like,
No,
I don't
it
know.
doesn't. So like
But,
we
like,
can't assume his situation,
yeah,
but like
but, like,
still you
come
have
on.
some discretionary income to buy chicken breast and like throw it in a pan. Because here's the thing. He says, I hate spending money on food. Well, really? I hate drinking just shakes. But you know what? Like, it's because I needed to do it.
I'm very curious. What are some of the comments on that? Like, what are some of the answers?
So when it comes to the answers, there's 5 answers on this, man. Like, and let's be honest, they're not as comprehensive as like the American Medical Journal. Like they
Right. This is the internet's advice.
First one, pizza is not food, a snack, maybe or an appetizer, but not food, exclamation point. But you're having a good time killing yourself.
That is a worse take.
Yikes. Like I didn't think that somebody could get worse than this original poster. And
Pizza is not food. It's a snack or an appetizer.
What kind of meals are you eating, Paul Bunyan? Like, you psychotic yet? Like, oh no, I'm gonna have the salmon, but I need a cheese pizza on the side. Like fuck all the way out of here, dude.
Like, oh, you know what? It's like 9:30. I'm going to bed in a half hour, but I just need something to just like satisfy my tummy. I'm just gonna have a slice of pizza.
Yeah, you're not like in Tuscany. And it's like one of those like very small where like portions are naturally small. Like I imagine this person is just like, yeah, no, like large pepperoni and sausage. That's the appetizer. Like that blows my mind.
And that was like the top response?
Yeah, top response.
Oh my God.
Top response. Second response that has a downvote. You need to eat more veggies. Doesn't get more American than that.
My favorite, well, maybe he does eat veggies on the pizza.
Maybe.
Probably not.
Yeah, that's kind of like how we used to justify that. Like, well, if we put spinach on the pizza, it's like a serving of No, it's not. It's not. It's covered in grease. Like, I mean, let's be real. But dude, to mainly pizza for 9 months, 9 months of straight za.
And now, to be fair, I feel like you and I ate a lot of pizza like in the past like 2 years before we started this journey. Like,
I honestly think we ate more pizza than anyone we know. We
probably ate an unhealthy amount of pizza.
We probably got pizza 3 times a week.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And we would have it you know what I mean? 3 times a week. I guarantee it.
And that's why, like, if we're able to look at this poster and be like, that's too much pizza, that's when you know you have a problem.
Yeah, if we're telling you that something's way off.
Because we mainly pizzaed for a while, too.
Yeah, we mainly pizzaed. And then we mainly, like, we would always get on kicks, like, of just, like, there was one particular restaurant or establishment that we would just, like, straight up hammer for 2 weeks at a time.
Well, and you always liked going to pizzerias, but I always had a little, like, soft spot for Domino's because I loved, like, the cheesy bread with the jalapenos and bacon.
Yeah, I love Domino's.
And they had, like, the best, like, dessert brownie. Oh, yeah. Can't.
God, I know. We're gonna get ourselves
craving of the
here.
week number 2.
Point blank, it's wrong to do anything mainly for 9 months. Like, it's wrong to mainly anything for 9 months, like, or at least 90% of things.
Yeah.
Like, too much of anything is a bad thing.
And also, I feel like that's bad for your mental health. Like,
right.
I don't know.
Like,
I can't imagine eating the same food.
Do you sweat garlic butter, brother? Like, at this point, you're probably just made of pizza. Like, I don't know what your organs are really doing, and they hate you right now. So we really hope you get the help that you need, and go buy a turkey sandwich.
Yeah, treat yourself to just something. Even if you go back to mainly pizzaing for another month after, eat like a different meal.
Right, exactly. And so, honestly, I think we handled that pretty well. So, another bread and butter down. I'm glad that we got to move over to Yahoo Answers, but we're going to move on to our main topic in the title of this episode today, which is Motivational Mania.
Ooh, I love Motivational Mania.
Motivational Mania, brother, you know?
The name is a blatant ripoff. Can't people know this?
Yeah, so...
Of a fun camp event.
Right. I mean, and fun's relative, but like, here's the thing. I always described Motivational Mania was always one night every year. And essentially it was to help motivate campers into trying new activities and seeing what people teach and seeing success stories and just showing how camp kind of impacted. But it was more about like the actual physical activities rather than camp itself sometimes.
Well, and then there was always that one person who would come out and they would just like do a like
a bodybuilder
greasy,
show.
Yeah, like oil themselves
Yeah,
up.
like
and,
we and
flex.
a few of our friends were picked to do that.
That
where
was
like,
interesting.
Yeah, so like some of the really ripped counselors would get up and like get oiled up and flex, and it was always just like super
It feels a little weird to me.
super uncomfortable that like a lot of like teenage to very young children are watching.
And there were like a lot of like high pitched cheers. Like it was not exactly.
Yeah, and if it were me up there, I'd feel super uncomfortable. Like I would be like, I don't know how to react to this. But regardless, Motivational Mania really had its strengths, but it also had its like its awkward kind of things. And so your Motivational Mania bit was my favorite bit of all time.
Well, yeah, because one of our friends, Blake, he was a runner, and he used to like run around, do laps around the rec hall during the activities, so we could see like how many laps he did, how many miles he ended up running, like by the end of it. And then one year we kind of did a little bit of a switch up where I came out first and said that I was going to be running.
It was so.
And then I went out and did one lap around the rec hall, and he took my spot and just came in like, oh, look at how much weight I lost.
Right. The funniest thing too was when you went on stage and it was announced that I'm gonna be running. Everyone was just like, nope, no, you're not.
Not a single person believed it.
Even like the 8-year-old campers were like, you're lying. It was so funny. But you did. Hey, you crushed that one lap.
I did. You know what? I didn't sprain a single ankle along that run.
I know. And you know what? And Motivational Mania was awkward at times, but it did mean a lot to a lot of people. And so I was glad that we got to be a part of it, especially for so many years. But it did spawn the reason why we wanted to make this the title of the episode. It's talking about your motivation. And talking about, like, we were asked by a listener, Josh, out there, and Josh in Pennsylvania, he basically said, he was like, how do you keep from demotivating yourself? Because weight loss has so many setbacks. Always.
Absolutely.
It always has setbacks. It will never, ever go 100% according to plan. And so how do you keep yourself on the rails, or how do you get over that hump of trying to stay motivated? And I'm really interested in what you think about this based on your journey, especially because you've been able to sustain this weight loss for the longest you ever have. So
Right.
what are the things that are keeping you motivated?
For me, I always try to rely on like positive motivation for myself, and I stay away from like the negative motivation. And so what I mean by that is if I were to, just eat too much one day,
Right.
and like I go to bed knowing like, okay, I definitely didn't do as great as I should. Or even over the last couple of weeks with the intermittent fasting, there have been some times where I've eaten,
Where
after
sometimes
that
you
3
slip
o'clock.
up.
And, it's really just not about punishing yourself for your mistakes.
Right.
I think that the unhealthy way to deal with those problems would be to kind of like internalize them and then try to make up for them.
Right.
And if you have like the need to make up for every single mistake that you make,
You'll go
along
insane.
the way, yeah, because like there are going to be days where you're going to eat more calories than you should. It's okay.
Right.
So
I do like how you said positive motivation. It has to be positive, because like for me, especially way back when I lost weight the first time, I fat shamed the shit out of myself every single day. I mean, I talk to myself regularly anyway, but during this time, like I would stand in the mirror and be like, piece of shit. Like, what happened to you? That was probably the biggest phrase that I would say to myself is, what happened to you? Like, you're not this. Like, what the hell happened to you? Stop acting like a piece of garbage and go get it done. And during that time, paired with every other unhealthy habit that I brought in under the sun, it just destroyed me mentally. But I didn't realize it at the time because I was like, well, it's working. And when you're seeing the results on the scale, you're just like, well, I have to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Meanwhile, like your own subconscious is just like dismantling itself.
Right.
And so I really like the take on positive motivation.
Yeah, and I think you have to like, because for me, one of the things that does motivate me too is seeing my success. But there does reach a fine line between letting that motivate you and letting it control you.
Yeah. Like tying your worth to your success weight loss wise.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Especially because, I think people usually, like, if they're losing weight, they see that they gained weight 1 week. I think the first thing they think of is they think, like, long-term, like, oh, is this the end? Am I never going to lose weight again? Was that the last week that I've ever lost weight?
Yep.
And
I felt that many a time.
And so they just, like, they sort
of like overcompensate.
There we go.
Yeah.
They overcompensate for like their mistakes in just very unhealthy ways. Me, so when I first started walking, right, it was like a Thursday. I just felt inspired, went out for a walk. Thursday, walked 3 miles. Friday, walked 3 miles. Saturday, walked 6 miles. Sunday, walked 6 miles.
Nice.
Monday, I wake up and I'm feeling pretty sore
Yeah.
because that's the most.
Oh, absolutely. That's the most
activity I've done
active. Yeah.
I don't even want to know.
Right.
So I decided, you know what? I have been doing really good so far. I had just done all my intermittent fasting for like a week and a half at that point. So I
Right.
was feeling pretty proud
Yeah.
about that. And that was also like the day that I went supermarket shopping. And, you know, I decided instead of like punishing myself for skipping that day because I was listening to my body telling me it's tired,
Right.
I decided to reward myself for how good I've been with my intermittent fasting by getting a pint of Halo Top to eat. And I allowed myself to eat that after 3 p.m.
Whoa. And you know what? Honestly,
It's almost liberating sometimes to break the rules that I've made for myself
and not freak out about
and
them.
not freak out about
And
them.
not beat yourself up about them. Because I think that's really good because then you're controlling the narrative. Like you're not
Exactly.
letting it control you. I
And,
really
all
like
of-
that.
And all of the rules that I have for myself are rules that I've imposed. You know, I've
Right.
heard people like questioning me about this like 7 to 3 rule that I do for intermittent fasting. And they're like, you're sure you're like, you don't eat dinner? Like that can't be healthy. Like, you know, and they question me about it. And it's like, well, these are the rules that I've put on myself. And, you know, I'm able to stick inside them and I don't really
And I think when that's
have a problem bending them a little
right.
bit.
And I think when that speaks to motivation, that creates a sustainability of motivation. Like your tank is always not completely full of gas because nobody's tank is always completely full of gas. But like I don't ever look at you and feel like you're running on empty. Like when it comes to motivation, because you're keeping yourself level at all these times. And that's the way that like I always kind of had to look at it, especially when I started. Like the things that motivate me now are, this one might sound a little weird. Okay.
Okay.
But I want to hopefully clarify it, or at least make sure that it comes off the way that I want it to. A healthy amount of selfishness and being comfortable enough to say that like I deserve better.
Okay.
I think that that's something that everybody on a weight loss journey needs. You need a healthy amount of selfishness. I'm not telling you to go be full on the most selfish person on the planet. That's absolutely not what I mean. But for me,
So what ways do you find yourself being selfish?
just like we spoke to it a couple episodes back of like guarding your recovery. Like I'm treating this entire journey as being in recovery. Okay. And so before, like years ago, anything that could threaten my recovery, I just kind of let that shit slide. Like, because I was just like, well, like you want to be a part of the norm.
Like
you,
what?
Like,
Can you give me an example?
so like perfect example right here. Somebody being like, somebody who's not on the journey and they might not get it. And they're just like, oh, like, come on. Like you've been so good. Like just treat yourself. Like
Yeah.
you've been so good. Just treat yourself. Like don't even worry about the calorie count. Don't even worry about this. Internally, I was screaming like, please stop. Like, but on the outside, I didn't want the confrontation. So I was just like, yeah, no, I'll let that shit slide. But the problem with letting that slide is then you have to eat that thing. Like, and then
Yeah.
you don't even enjoy it because you didn't even want to treat yourself. Like you wanted to stay extremely disciplined. And now, like if anyone, like when I'm doing the shakes and they're so strict, someone's just like, go celebrate, like have a brownie. Like one brownie's not going to kill you. All like at that point, I just go, like cut that that shit out.
And I think it really just comes down to the way that like we kind of view our recovery, because viewing it in terms of recovering like an addiction, you know, it's kind of like saying like one cigarette won't kill you.
Right.
Like one cigarette won't
Exactly.
kill you, but when you have one cigarette and then you have another cigarette and then another and another and another,
Exactly.
you know?
And so for me, that healthy amount of selfishness, that lights my fire, man. Like honestly, like I do feel, cause like you know me, like, and you've even told me before that like in some scenarios I can be a bit of a pushover in certain stuff. But like this feels so much better to finally be able to just kind of say the shit that's on my mind when it's pertaining to my weight loss. That juices me up real quick. Cause then I know I'm trying, like, look, this is another thing that also feeds into the motivation is that right now you and I both, and I think anybody who's on a weight loss journey has the opportunity to do something great.
Yeah.
I do think that humans at their core do strive to achieve some sort of personal greatness. Like you search for whatever it may be, you search for some kind of greatness. And I think that we have the opportunity to do something personally great in our lives. And when you can look back, I like how you talked about your perspective of like how far you've come and looking at your success, because that's a big one for me too, is being able to look and see how far we've come. It really makes your motivate, like it boosts you up. That fills your gas tank.
Yeah, absolutely.
It fills your gas tank up. And so for anyone like who's on a journey, like you have to start diagramming out like the things that get you juiced up. It's like a listen to your body. What gets you going?
Yeah, because people are motivated by so many different things.
So many different things.
If you're somebody who's usually motivated by, I don't know, like expressing yourself, then that's how you should motivate yourself to lose weight.
Right. Or
like
if you're cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say that people are motivated by so many different things, which I think is very true, what do you think are like some of the notables of like things?
Well, there are definitely people that are motivated by, romance or, maybe you have a wedding or a party coming up in the future that like that's your motivation.
Yeah,
and you know what, that can be a great motivation, at least in the short and medium term. Long term you would want to have something to hold on to after that, so that after the wedding you can maintain that.
And I think there's a big difference between motivation and foundation. Yeah. I think like honestly that just kind of like clicked in my head, so like I just learned something. But I think that there's a very large difference between setting your foundation to build your house of success versus these, like you feel your tank getting a little bit lower and you're looking at something to kind of pick you back up. Mm-hmm. And so I think that those are good things, and I think that everybody should have those because it's going to happen inevitably. Like you're gonna have some kind of setback, or your tank is gonna feel a little low. You're gonna feel a little sore after you've done 20 miles over the past 5 days. And I think having those things is a good thing. It's a good mental exercise too, to be able to just kind of sit down and diagram out what those things are that motivate you.
Right.
Yeah. And so you know what? That's another main topic down. That is Motivational Mania. Shout out to Camp, honestly, for just
giving us the name.
Right, exactly, for giving us the name. But we're going to move on. Woo!
New segment alert.
New segment alert. And Barry, I am so excited.
I'm excited to hear how this ends up too, because when you first pitched this to me, I was like, this is either going to be great or a disaster.
Folks, this is, you couldn't have said it any better. This is either going to be one of the best ideas we've ever had, because it's a we thing now, or it's going to be an absolute train wreck. And I did focus this to a couple people just to kind of like float it out there to see if, and they were like full send. I even got approval from someone. The title of this segment is called Slamdoetry.
I wonder what that could mean.
Barry, Slamdoetry, folks at home, Slamdoetry is where Barry and I are going to take a crack at writing slam poems in the space of food, in the space of culinary arts, if you will. And I was just yelling things out loud at one point when I pitched this.
Yeah, you've been yelling like rhyming things around the house for a little bit.
We've been watching slam poem videos. Like we like really tried to go for this.
Yeah, this idea has been percolating in your head for at least a month.
I think I had this idea the third week after launch, and I was so nervous about it, but we're going with it. And so really what's going to happen is we're each going to read our slam poem, and then we're just going to kind of let it ride. And like we'll debrief a little bit after each poem. And you know what? Maybe we'll put these up too. Maybe we'll throw them up on our YouTube channel.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But just like a typical slam poem environment, I'm going to let you run. Stop looking at my paper.
Is that your slam poem?
Yeah, it is.
That's huge.
No, it's not. Don't worry. I rehearsed it already. So I'm going to let you run. And you know what? I'm going to try. I mean, we're going for some jokes here, but you know what? I'm really going to try and just absorb it. And I'm just going to kind of agree with a couple of,
Yeah. Well, I decided to go with a pretty heavy topic for the first slam dome I did.
Okay.
Mine is an ode to Italian food.
Ooh.
And I say that it's heavy because it sits in your stomach.
I like that. Okay, so this is titled Ode to Italian Food, written and performed by Strawberry.
All right. Tortellini, Alfredo, zucchinis, tomatoes, the pastas, the bread, an Italian spread. Carbs, 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 carbs. Mantra in my head. Tread light through the night or tread heavy. Chicken marsala, Francaise Parmesan, pizza with all the add-ons, the spices and meats, and desserty treats, cannolis and ices, my 2 favorite vices. Italy, oh Italy, do you know what you did to me? Your food is so good, too good. I ate way more than I should. It was so hard for me to get through that.
I was biting my shirt. Oh, I loved that. Oh my God. I thought that was brilliant.
Do you want to know what's so funny about that?
Oh my God.
It took me like 20 minutes to write it. The hardest part of finding that was thinking of what I wanted to talk about.
Oh,
once I picked
God.
Italian food, it was done.
All of my vices. Oh, I really liked that. I loved the theme. I really did.
Thank you.
It was vivid. It was imaginative. Well done. I mean,
you.
all this time that you have been writing this, that was awesome. I really like that. And I really hope that the folks at home like that too. So, sorry, I have to get my shit together. I don't even know how I'm going to perform now. Okay. Yeah. This poem is called Full of Swalty. Full of Swalty, written and performed by Seth. A flick of the wrist, it shakes. The friction of index and thumb as the Mortons falls down like snowflakes, creating new ways for taste buds to numb. Hailing to the surface lies the tortoise, caramel inner shell with nowhere to retreat. The salt storm hits him with no regard. This is too long to describe. Salted covered chocolate turtles. It's time to fucking eat. The dynamic of Swalty is peculiar, almost as if it's familiar, but not too familiar. Identical to one holding the door for you as you're 15 away, so you have to giddy up your step. Thanks for the sweet gesture, but I'm salty for being out of breath. 2 deep inhales can apply to regathering oxygen or a meal of just about any kind. Yet there's just a culinary race running in my mind. Suburban skies, clouds of white cotton candy. But suddenly I hanker for a plate of curly French fries, all up on these thighs. Never was shot at in a plane. Brian Williams lies on the floor of an NYC loft, eyeing his Postmates 2 feet away, remembering his anchor chair was so comfy and soft. The antithesis of the Mandalorian. That was not the way. Hours passed during this Wimbledon tennis match. Back and forth, salty and sweet, back and forth. Swalty! The 1-2 punch, it never seems to be faulty. Yet inside me, a battle rages to combat this significant consumption. A stomach pleads for a ceasefire. This battle has gone on long enough, sire. I'm afraid these digestive troops have grown too tired. I persist with the heart of a pre-diabetic lion, too proud to admit defeat. For the life of a big comes with the notion that mass consumption is not too steep. Time traveled to Gainesville in 2012 on a Saturday night with my stomach still pleading. I'm outside a burger joint named Relish. A Tri-Delta sister is yelling on the phone and her hand is profusely bleeding. In line, I see a burger topped with peanut butter as if to create the Swalty version of the Sistine Chapel. But my mind and stomach are racing to push me back to my dorm. I know I shouldn't, but I must. For Swalty has never failed me in its lore. I just need one bite, but my body says no, Mandy, more. I was shaking. I was so nervous.
Now, there's so many that I want to talk about for a second. First of all, Swalty. Was this a term that, because I've never heard this term before.
I honestly just made this up.
Okay.
I wanted to combine sweet and salty into Swalty.
I'm glad, because
and I
now
wanted
we
to
need
see if
copyright it and put it on merch.
I wanted to see if I could write my way around it. Swalty.
All right, so the
I left you
flashback to
speechless.
2012 was surprising at the end. That I like that.
That really happened. I remember that vividly. It was the first time I ever.
A hamburger.
It was this place called Relish, and they used to put Like one of their signatures was that they would put peanut butter on their burger patties with bacon. And it was sort of kind of like this little bit of sweet, but the peanut taste. Like, I'm not going to lie, Barry, I got one for free once because I said that's the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Oh my God.
And I tried it for the first time. That night that I actually went in there, I was already super full, and that's when I got it for free. And so I tried it and I never went back.
It wasn't good?
No, I never went back to eating regular burgers at this place Relish.
Oh.
Every time I went, I got peanut butter on my burger.
Interesting.
Yeah, don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, that is. I'm never one to yuck someone's yum, but that doesn't seem normal.
Yeah,
to me,
it didn't seem. Honestly,
I'm always open.
For someone who's such a peanut butter guy, I was disgusted by it, like the idea of it. And then this guy was like, "I'll let you try one for free to prove that you like it." And I was like, "God damn, you're right. I love this." And so yeah, swalty, man, sweet and salty.
I like that.
I'm glad you did because I was so close. Like my hands are still kind of shaking a little bit.
I noticed that you with the paper.
Because like I broke a couple times, but like first time, I think we did pretty well there.
I think so too.
And so folks, we want to know what you think of slam doetry. And if you have any slam domes that you would like us to read, or if maybe you would like to submit, we've got some things in the works that we might be able to pave the way for audio submissions. And so
start writing your slam domes if you want to hear them.
I had a lot of fun with that. I actually kind of want to keep a running list, and then maybe we'll sell these as in a poetry book.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had a lot more fun writing this than I thought I would.
And and shout out to everyone out there who does slam poetry. What a beautiful craft of art that we really hope you're not offended by this.
Tell us how to get better.
Yeah, tell us how to get better. But we're going to go into closing thoughts, and you know what?
So I just want to leave off with a little bit of motivation for our peeps out there.
I like that.
Are having some.
I was going to ask if you had something.
Yeah, I know that every week is a new journey. Some people are listening and they're supporting us on our journey. Some people are having us as kind of background noise for their own journey.
Yeah.
And, if you're on your own weight loss journey out there, you're struggling to stay motivated, find what things motivate you elsewhere in your life.
Absolutely.
Try to apply that to weight loss.
Couldn't agree more.
And remember to think in terms of the rest of your life. Don't think in terms of
point A to point B.
Yeah, don't think in terms of until I get down to my goal weight.
Right. Because there's no cure. This is forever. We're changing our lifestyles, and I really, really like that sentiment. I think that's very important to always have on your mind. And life's hard. Life is hard.
Don't take any shame in stumbling once or twice.
Exactly. Like there is no shame in having setbacks because you know what? Like battle scars. I mean, they're there to remind you. And we have our fair share of them. And honestly, I'm glad that we're in a place to be able to talk about it. And so, folks, we're really happy that you were with us for another episode here. If you like the show, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts if you can.
Follow us on social media.
Everywhere. Just follow us everywhere. And make sure to just tell 10 people that you know. Tell 10 people that you know about Sorry for the Wait, and hopefully we can get them in on this. And it'll be en route to world domination. But guess what? Until next time, I'm Seth.
And I'm Strawberry.
And this is Sorry for the Wait.